Troll yard. What, do they keep trolls there? What is that?
All right. Gonna ping our other player.
Salutations.
Or not?
I like to make myself a hot drink right before the game. And that usually means I have to do it right before the game, quite literally.
Well, I found another one. We got Bliss Street and Ignorance Alley right next to each other.
Haven't heard of that in Monopoly.
Esky is exploring the streets of Waterdeep.
Alright.
Not a sailor, are you?
And once you get logged in, we'll get started.
Yes, sir.
And if you remember last time you all started in the Lost Drop Tavern, you met your Tabaxi barkeep. You know, we discussed the plague that's ravaging the Copper District. You all decided to head out that way, and once again, they are offering a reward of 4 silver shards for each day that you spend working, helping the plague-stricken. You met Sandor, who is a council member of the Copper District, and you know, he gave you papers of employment so you could get in and out of the city gates. And while you were on the way to the Copper District, you met Rorik Amberforge by helping him get his wagon out of the rut. Once again, he is a wealthy dwarf merchant there in Waterdeep. And with his help, not that you necessarily need it, but you got through the gates of the Copper District without any problem. And the difference is almost night and day as you walk through the gates. The squalor just becomes apparent. The air is thick with the stench of sickness and death, and you see beggars and cripples wandering the street asking for, spare copper nibs. Anything you can spare.
Ugh, don't let it touch me.
Alright.
And, as you're taking all this in, you start pushing further into the Copper District. And you see this push cart rattling by, and it's piled high with corpses, pulled by a man in black leathers that bear the sigil of House Blackwood. And you see a scrap of black cloth is tied over his nose and mouth.
Alright.
I had a good laugh about the peasants earlier, but this really could be anything, couldn't it? It might even be genuine.
Genuine.
In any case, we should probably see about looking around. They told us to come in here and help, but not really a whole lot of direction in how to do that, so let's just focus on trying to track down the source, shall we?
It's a rather vague word, help. I agree, though.
I'm sure if we seek out whoever's in charge at the moment, we can get some further instructions. We did kind of just come in with a random merchant.
Yes.
Yeah, and you figure there'll be plenty of opportunities to either assist or find people that can tell you what you're doing. And, as you're walking through the slums, you pass a small alley and you see two beggars fighting over this very dirty loaf of bread. And, eventually one wrestles it away from the other and he takes off running down the alley, and the other one's giving chase, calling him a dirty thief and so forth. And as you continue even deeper into the Copper District, and you're coming up this alleyway, and at the junction ahead of you, you see a cart is resting in the center of a small square. And atop the cart, you see a pair of Blackwood enforcers are standing, and they're throwing out loaves of stale bread to this mob of dirty humans and half-orcs. And as they toss each loaf of bread, the guards yell out that young Lord Ander Blackwood is generous, and that the young Lord Ander Blackwood has not forgotten you. And while you're taking all this in, you see this older woman. She yells out, "Help! Pickpocket!" And you see this individual run out through the mob, and he's got a piece of bread. And the guards instantly jump off the cart, and they are starting to give chase.
That seems like a poor idea. Why don't we just put an end to that?
Well, exactly how do you propose we do that? I mean, obviously,
Catch him.
Goodwill is going to he's going to lift his cane and point it at the guy that's fleeing, and he's going to kind of give him a little telekinetic shove back towards the mob.
Okay, yeah. And that would be a...
Would you like to actually have rolls for that, or just no?
Yeah. He goes flying back. What is it? 5 feet. 5 feet
like
back.
5 feet back into the waiting hand.
I'm sorry.
Yes, into the waiting hands of the mob.
Yes, and believe me, they are very quick to grab a hold of it. And, now the guards are moving up, trying to help the pickpocket escape the hands of the mob. But eventually, they get the mob under control and so forth. They give the loaf of bread back to the old lady. She's happy. And
What a shame. I was hoping for blood.
and they are after all this, the mob is they're starving. You can tell by the look on their faces and so forth that a lot of them haven't had anything decent to eat in a while. And they start rushing back toward the cart to grab all the bread, and the enforcers are trying to maintain order.
It's this mob, if I were to look at it at a glance, how many people would this mob be?
Let's say there's 10 people per token.
So 30 people. Some mighty lot of starving commoners for us to be engaging with.
And that bread's not going to do them very good in the long run.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a mob of 30 starving people here. It's like they're not big. They're not in shape. They're like peasants, so they're probably
They're not in shape. I don't want to kill a lot of halfway dead people already.
Right. So just anyone here have something that can just scare them off? What's this thing over here?
The statue?
Yeah, that's just a statue in the middle of town.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work on that. I have to hit the target. Oh. Do I think if I can use my sacred flame to bring down a small batch of flame onto that statue to try to light it up?
Yeah, you can try.
Okay, I will do so. I will use sacred flame to bring down a small mote of flame. I'm not sure how large, but flame-like radiance that will descend upon the statue. The statue has to make a dexterity saving throw. Let me post it or that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it failed its dex saving throw.
Right, so
yeah, they don't pass saving throws. They always fail it.
There we go. So there's that. Hopefully I didn't damage the statue too much. And so I bring down hopefully this large flame that catches people's attentions.
They're looking at it, but right now they're more concerned with food.
All right. Well, after I do that, I yell at them to stand back, to put themselves back into order. So, all right. So let me see here. Is that going to be? No, that's cast it.
Make your speech. Climb up on the statue, surrounded by sacred flame, and call for peace among the masses.
All right. So I'm going to walk right up because.
That's not going to turn weird at all.
Yeah, so I'm going to get up there with the flame, and I go, enough! You are fighting for that which is going to be given to you freely. You're not animals. You can contort yourself better than this. Times now are rough. But you have within you the potential for strength. Horn believes in your strength that you can beat this harsh time. Compose yourself. Heal yourselves. You all will have a chance for greater glory. but not acting like savages.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Was that persuasion or intimidation?
I'll try to go for
Mixed
persuasion.
messages.
Yeah, it's like a mix. Well, remember, he's a piece of battle, so it's gonna be a little bit of half and half. Yeah.
I will let you choose whichever one you'd like to roll.
Okay. Well, for me, it's the same either way, intimidation or persuasion. I will try rolling persuasion. All right, you rolled it.
Nope, I rolled for me.
Oh, you rolled for you. Okay. So I will roll. Let's roll my persuasion. See how persuasive I can be. Wow.
Pretty
Okay.
persuasive.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
It must be the acoustics of the square where you're at, but your voice carries weight, and the crowd starts to settle down, and the enforcers, they're like, that's right, settle down. Young Lord Blackwood is generous. He hasn't forgotten you. There's plenty for everyone.
I can't help but notice that they don't have enough people here.
Hence the
Well,
call
I
for
mean, among the
volunteers.
soldiers, among the guards distributing bread.
Yes. This could very easily turn bad. Although that could be fun too.
Seems like it would be young Lord Anders' problem if it did turn bad.
I'm sure it'd be swept under the rug. 30 people died of the plague.
Oh, not the commoners. No, they would rip the gods to pieces. Look how many there are.
It wouldn't look good on our reputation if we allowed that to happen, though.
So, with the
Who says we were ever here?
with the moving speech, things calm down, and the bread is being distributed, and 2/3 of the crowd disperse.
All right.
In any case, we've probably done enough here. Shall we move along?
Yeah, we've kept the peace enough.
All right. So, right. Okay. So, Brother Kyron's gonna step down from there and he's gonna walk over. He has that piece of paper from from the inn, right? That for the payment. No, not for the payment.
Yeah.
For the sign up for work.
Yeah, you sure do.
Okay. So he's gonna go over to one of the guards and goes, would you two be the people we need to speak to about this? He shows on the paper and says that I'm interested in trying to assist as per the request of the Blackwoods, as well as for payment.
Okay, sorry. No, I'm not who you need to on that. And give me just a second. And yeah, come on. Just click. And he goes, that would be Lieutenant Dan that you need to talk to. And Dan's supposed, he's out supervising bread deliveries today. the bakery just had a big batch, and we're all out over town or over the district passing out the bread. He's the one that you need to see. He can tell you what to do.
And where can we find this Lieutenant Dan?
With Forrest Gump, I bet.
I'm trying not to say it.
Yeah,
I'll say it in the accent too. Lieutenant Dan.
you ain't got
Lieutenant
no
Dan.
legs.
Ice cream. Lieutenant Dan, I got you ice cream.
Can you tell I did not have a name prepared?
Yep.
And it's enforcers. So he tells you to start heading toward the bakery that's closer on into town. He's sure that one of the other enforcers, if they seen him, they'll tell you where to find him. And, he points down the alleyway.
All right. So I guess we'll head down towards that area. But, how long have you been working for the Blackwoods, distributing out the bread here?
It's a pretty decent job. I've worked for the Blackwoods before then, but, they're giving us hazard pay to come down here and pass out the bread.
Have you seen or heard much other than just these, other than the people just asking for bread? Heard anything that might have been of interest? That they said that it seems that the plague seems to be worse in any one particular neighborhood, or anything else to that effect?
Since the lockdown, not enough food is being traded. And, so you got the sickness, and then, just not enough food. You got famine, and, people are starving to death. And, fortunately, the young Lord Andrew Blackwood cares for his people and has not forgotten them. And it's pretty bad. As you go on down the street, there's a section of the district that we had to do another quarantine inside our quarantine zone.
Really? Not bad there. What was found there? Was it just a large amount of corpses, or was it something more?
It's just it's almost like it's the epicenter of the plague.
Really? And you said
Yeah.
it's just down which alleyway?
It's just down the street, and he points in a direction.
Okay, I make note of that direction as I look towards everyone else in the party who's joined us.
You see Goodwill behind you. He's got a little notebook out, and he's writing stuff in it.
Okay. I'm sure that probably some of the inhabitants here have made offers to you and trying to get more bread or stuff like that. Have they shared any other information with you or anything else like to that? Maybe that they've heard that it was possibly that, when the plague first came out, that they saw maybe or heard something. Maybe they're trying to blame it or point a direction on where who might have been behind it or anything like that, or sharing you their own thoughts on it. I'm sure in any group they probably have their own wild theories on why this plague came.
I've heard one or two theories, but they were just so implausible that, I just didn't pay him any attention. Most people are just upset because they feel like they've been forgotten by the city, and if it wasn't for the Blackwells, I don't know, it would be a lot worse here.
I imagine that's given rise to quite a lot of
Well, I'm sure goods flow through, but no one's smuggling anything out of the Copper District.
Oh, I was more talking into the Copper District, food and the like.
Well, we try our best to enforce quarantine. I'm sure there's always some people that get through.
In any case, I wager this Lieutenant Dan would have more information we seek. Shall we head along?
Yeah.
I guess I third that idea.
Yep.
Okay,
And,
you continue down a few blocks and shit. Okay, you come across an upset family pleading with a set of Blackwood enforcers. The road ahead of you to the east, you can tell it's been blockaded by a makeshift barricade. There's stacked barrels, empty chairs, anything they could use to stop people from going further into the Copper District. And, you see this mother and father and, little Billy. And, you can see that the mother is carrying some bread that you assume just come from the bread cart. And they are pleading with the guards to let them go through. And the guards are like, this area is under maximum quarantine. We're under direct orders from Lord Bram Blackwood not to let anybody in to the inner quarantine area. And, the mother, she just breaks out crying, and the father, he's like, we got our son. He's sick. We got to get to him. He's on the other side of the barricade.
I imagine if those people pass through, then they won't be coming back out.
Probably not.
And, the guard says if I let you through, you're going to end up dying.
Looking at the guards, do any of them seem to have like some kind of notation on their uniform that shows them to be like a higher rank? If anyone could one of them be possibly Lieutenant Dan?
No, he would be at the bakery.
Yeah, just with their demeanor, you can tell that these are lower ranking guards.
Goodwill will go ahead and step up. And he'll just ask, is there some problem here?
Yeah, these people want to go into the inner quarantine zone, and we're not going to let them.
Well, that's crazy. Why would you want to go in there?
Well, sir, our sick son is in there, and we had to sneak out to get some bread.
So you snuck out of the quarantine inside the quarantine to get bread?
Yes, our family is starving.
And Goodwill kind of gestures to the guard, and he says, "No, you heard them. Put them back in there. That's where they came from. They should be under quarantine still."
I can't, I'm not allowed to let anyone in, regardless of whether or not they come from there. I have my orders.
Young man,
People
I
can
want
just
you
sneak out
to...
and they'll be free.
Yes, you're not thinking clearly. These are the very people that you should have under quarantine. They escaped, and they came back.
And just who the hell are you to be telling me my business?
I am Theron Goodwill. I was hired by the Copper District to help manage the plague here.
And you're dressed as neatly and officially as your token would suggest.
Yes, he's very dapper.
Well,
Now, it's all well and fine if you don't want to... Yes, that's all well and fine if you don't want to enforce the quarantine that you're currently standing around enforcing, but I will be speaking with your superior here in just a little bit to let him know about this. So think carefully.
He looks back at the other guards and he's like, yeah, let's let him pass. You know, this guy's probably got a good idea. They probably need to stay in the quarantine zone. Move out of the way. Let him through.
Good man.
And, you know, Ma and Paul and little Billy are all very excited, you know, that the situation is diffused, and they quickly depart the scene.
Hopefully they didn't spread the plague while they were outside the quarantine, but there's no telling.
How many other cases like this are there? And I'm just not allowing those that should be quarantined to be inside the quarantine zone.
I'm a little surprised they didn't try and leave the kids somewhere once they got out.
I imagine they weren't telling the truth about their circumstances. Still, if they want to head into certain death, I'm not going to stop them.
Well, again, why bring the child? But that's their business, I guess.
A third person to get a third loaf of bread, maybe.
I mean, at that rate, why go in?
You're not supposed to tell us, Winter.
I'm not. I'm just suggesting, you know. One loaf per individual.
In any case, let's move along to the bakery, shall we?
I don't think bakery's here.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and ask the guards. Say, where is the bakery at?
You know, he points down the road and he's like, yeah, it's just down the road, and you know, he tells you it's a couple of blocks.
Okay.
And he's like, why are you headed to the bakery?
Well, I already told you, man. I'm on my way to speak with your boss.
We thought we have to speak with Lieutenant Dan.
Oh, you're looking for Lieutenant Dan. Well, you know, he got called away to the, he had to go meet his boss back at the Blackwood estate. Something over, they're wanting to increase supplies to the district and so forth. So, you can hang around. I'd say he'll be back in about an hour or so.
Of course, he got called away.
So there's no one in charge when he's gone? Who's the second person in command?
I imagine they're at the bakery.
I also would imagine that.
He says, they have they have the normal chain of command in place and so forth. But for the most part, it's Lieutenant Dan who's managing the troops on the ground. He does say, there's a... We have some assistants at times that, do not wear our uniforms. It's almost like they're, sword for hires.
Not too different than what we're currently doing, then. In any case, if
and
the bakery is a few blocks away, I imagine he should be back by the time we get there.
So, without rolling a perception or anything, you don't have any reason to doubt that this guy's lying to you.
I genuinely don't care.
Does my passive insight help me on this one, or do you want me to roll it?
Passive is fine, and you're not getting any indication that Lieutenant Dan is anywhere other than where he says.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll head to the bakery. If anything, if no other way, just to make our bona fides to talk to a couple people, and then we can see about maybe getting a pass from them to enter in the deeper quarantine zone to see about investigating what's in there. Makes things easier for us.
You saw the guards on the edge of the inner quarantine zone. We could just throw a shiny penny down an alley and walk right by them.
I would not forsake these men doing their duty. They're honoring their orders.
There's no excuse for bad work, my man.
Okay.
Even the lowliest guards. Go ahead.
You headed down the street toward the bakery, and by now, the sun is starting to set. It's getting darker within the city itself, and as you get closer to the bakery, the afflicted people that you see on the street, they're thinning out. But you do see 3 large figures, and they're shrouded in black cloaks. And each one of them is carrying this large cast under their arm. And, they just totally look out of place. Your first impression is that, they're strong and healthy. And just their movements, it's setting off that spider sense.
Okay. I make sure to loosen my sword from its scabbard in case I need to draw it quickly as we approach.
And you see them actually carrying these small barrels into the bakery and shut the door.
Perhaps some of those cell swords we were told about earlier?
Maybe.
Let's go introduce ourselves, shall we?
He checks out. I agree. Let us continue onwards into the building.
Okay, and that is that one. And a new map coming at ya. Okay, you are standing. I'll even be nice and open the door so you can see where the front door is. But you are standing outside this little square bakery. And yeah, you can see some light on inside. However, through the front window, you are not seeing any movement in the storefront area.
I'm not seeing much of anything.
There's no exterior light.
There is no light outside the building, but we can see inside. It's kind of weird
Okay. Well,
until
if
we
that's
actually
the case,
get in. I mean, I can
Well-
see inside, but I can't see my token. But in any
Yeah.
case, Goodwill's gonna go up to the front
Can
door.
you all see each other now?
No.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
we don't have any vision to anything that's not inside the building.
Yeah, it's the map itself. It doesn't have light outside enabled.
If you want, I just cast a light spell, so you can drag that to my token if you can see where my token is, because I can't.
Not that it
Like,
really
I see
matters.
where our tokens are because my cursor changes to a pointy hand when I hover over them, but
Okay,
Up
can you
there.
see now?
nope.
We can see the building, we just can't see ourselves outside the building.
Yeah.
Okay. Light.
Does it
There's
matter?
no light outside. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna be walking into the place anyways, probably.
Now?
No.
Nope.
Okay, that should not. Lighting is off.
Lighting is off?
Oh, I know what it is. Now
There
you
it
can
is.
see.
There we go.
Fog of War.
Well, now we can see
Fog of War.
everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a small building.
In any case, I'll go ahead and head up to the front door, and I'll give a knock on the door. Oh god, I hate that spell.
No, I don't want you to remove it. I want you to.
Being abducted by the mothership!
That's too
There we
funny. Okay, yeah, you can hear a little faint noise in the background, but after you knock, it gets really quiet.
All right.
Dan, are you there? I'll knock again.
A person.
You know, after a moment or two of consistent knocking, you see this half-orc come down to the door. And what do you want?
Good evening. We're here looking for Lieutenant Dan. We're here on behalf of the Copper District's management, I guess. The council? Yes.
You'll have to come back. Lieutenant Dan's not here.
Yes, so I heard. Apparently he went to the Blackwood estate or some such or the other. He should be back soon, though, yes?
As far as I know.
Oh, would it be alright if we wait here? It's starting to get dark out.
No, it's not okay.
Excuse me?
I don't know who you are. I'm not letting you in.
I just told you who I was.
If you have business with Lieutenant Dan, you come back when Lieutenant Dan's here.
Well, fine. I'll just wait outside like some manner of ghoul.
Show him our identification.
What? Oh, you mean those
Papers.
pendant things?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, here. And he kind of reaches into his coat and he pulls them out and he shows them to the man. Or
I don't give a shit. I said come back. If you want Lieutenant Dan, you come back when he's here. And if you'll excuse me, we're busy. And he starts to shut the door.
Oh, I'm gonna let him go. Go ahead and shut it.
And he shuts the door, and he goes back into the back.
This was supposed to be a bakery that's used for distributing food throughout the town, yes?
I was
That's
under
what
that
they
impression.
said.
Where are the guards?
That does make a... Yeah, I guess there would be guards here, but I don't see it. Maybe it's one of those large individuals that's carrying the casks. They're inside.
Did you see the mob earlier that was about to tear those two men apart for bread? And you're telling me they don't have guards around the bakery? No, something's off here.
Mayhaps the one at the door was one of those guards.
Well, then he's doing a very poor job of guarding.
Would that be unusual given what we've seen before?
No, but I feel like we should have a look around.
All right.
He kind of glances down at Skolt.
Yes. Scope.
Like, you're very small, aren't you? Can't you, like, sneak into, I don't know, maybe a rat hole somewhere and get inside?
I am not small enough to sneak into a rat hole. Well, what exactly are we looking for inside? It's not a bakery. There'd be bread being baked in there, not I don't know what you'd be searching for. What would you like me to find in there?
I just want to see what it is they're so busy about that they can't let us sit in the foyer.
Certainly there should be some kind of window.
Yes, but that's not nearly as entertaining as having you squeak around in the floorboards.
I don't exactly know what I'd be getting out of the exchange, but...
My amusement, my good man. My amusement. And he kind of points with his cane, but yes, let's go look for some windows.
Alright. I'm a bit too tiny to look through a window. I'd have to hop up to see it through.
Goodwill, of course, enjoys this quite a bit.
You can levitate me with your floating hand.
I mean, he could, but then you wouldn't hop.
Yeah, instead I'd be getting strangled by my jacket. But I will walk around over here, and I assume this is a window, because the light changed a little bit.
Yeah, you can see through into the main lobby, and also you can see a little bit into the kitchen, and you can see several figures moving about, but you can't exactly see from your viewpoint.
If I look up, do I see any smoke rising from this bakery?
Yes.
Or the chimneys?
You are not smelling baking bread. However, you do smell where bread has been baked. They're not currently baking.
Well, if they're not currently baking, that means they're not currently using the ovens. And if they're not currently using the ovens, that means the chimneys for the ovens are not hot. So therefore,
well,
our smoker can
think
actually
they're
go.
still hot because, it's just now getting dark.
Yeah, okay, they're warm. Our skulker can try to go through the chimney.
Let's look through some windows first. He's got to.
Yeah, let's not get me arrested before we even know what's in there.
And
we're just curious. We're not breaking anything.
Well, I mean, it's curious because if they're trying to be making all this bread, they should be trying to keep the hearths and the ovens working all the time to try to make enough bread. It takes quite a while and quite a bit of time and energy to make bread, as far as I know of. When I used to make bread in the kitchen.
You are aware that they might, not have an infinite supply of wheat they could use to make flour. Well, I guess flour to use to make bread. They might be waiting for a shipment, which is what those barrels were for, we saw.
That's possible.
Okay. Yalva, as you work your way around, you find a window that offers you a good vantage point. You can see that indeed the three half-orcs the three cloaked figures are half-orcs, and they are all in the kitchen. And you see these bags of grain, and they're taking a bag of grain and they're mixing it with grain out of these casks that they carried in. And, they're tying the grain bags and putting them back. And, overall, it's just a little suspicious.
You have a weird look on your face.
I'm going to scoot back this way and try and quietly relay this to the rest of the group.
So what about it was suspicious to you?
Well, why would they mix grain from a couple of barrels into the supply they already have?
I've known millers to toss subpar flour with the rest to meet health qualifications while still saving a penny. It could be what they're doing.
I can't imagine they're trying to meet health qualifications
in the middle of a plague zone. Yes, doesn't sound quite right.
What I'm getting at here is I think they're cutting corners quite heavily.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. However, we should have a further poke around, I feel.
Yes, you said there were 3 of them in that building?
Yes.
Well, we saw 3 go in, and then somebody came back to greet us at the door, so 3 or 4. Not including whoever might already have been here.
I don't suppose I noticed this glowing shit on the table over here.
What, you don't have a nightlight?
I was getting ready to say, when you were looking in the window, You did notice that all of the lackeys are wearing gloves when they're handling the screen that's coming out of these casts.
Surely it's for hygiene reasons.
You're a sadist, aren't you?
Hey, excuse me?
One that derives pleasure from seeing others' misfortune.
Oh, goodness, no. I don't like to see people in pain at all.
I mean, you can see what I said in that, but I saw you earlier with your cane. Wouldn't it be quite enjoyable to see what would happen when that green substance were to be put on living matter?
Goodwill's thinking about it, and he's like, he's not wrong, but at the same time, do I want to validate his assumption? And you see, he goes to the edge of the window, and he raises his cane, and he points it at the substance, and using his telekinesis, he's gonna shove it 5 feet to the north.
Okay. This grain comes out, and the half-orc just starts cussing. I got some of it on me. Oh my God. He's rapidly brushing it off of him.
Goodwill's got kind of a cruel smirk as he takes a step back.
So what happened?
He's very dusty now. Coincidentally, does anyone have a match?
I might have one. No, I think I don't. What about the rest of you lot?
I have a flint and steel in my back. Tinderbox.
No, you'll be too close to the explosion. In any case, let's have a look around the rest of the building, shall we?
Yes. Maybe avoiding that window, though.
Probably wise.
Just creep under it.
I don't have to creep under. I just walk under it.
Or that.
You can see just the tips of his pointed ears above the windowsill.
Well, I'll walk around the other way. From what I can see here, there's no other window that goes around there, so no one should be able to see if I go around the building the long way.
You're kind of built like a brick shit house. There's no getting under that window.
Yeah, there's no.
Which is why I'm walking around the other way.
Okay, yeah, you're not seeing any other windows or methods of entry or exit into the building.
All right.
It's just a tad odd, isn't it?
Buildings such as this?
Why would that be weird?
What kind of bakery doesn't have windows? It's not like it's a fort.
Well, you have to keep the heat in. Forges are notorious for not having any windows. There's only one central flume, because you don't want to have too much of the heat escape as you're working.
Goodwill kind of takes his cane and he whaps you on your big metal shoulder plate. He's like, "You don't cook bread in the foyer, young man."
They're both. You need high heat, whether it's for metal or for grain. You still need a good chimney.
Remind me never to let you into my kitchen.
Let me ask a clarifying question. Are there literally no other windows, or is it that there are no other windows of note, or they have been boarded up?
Let's say they have been boarded up.
Okay,
well, that makes a lot more sense.
That's a little suspicious, yes.
Maybe they've had break-ins in the past.
Oh, yes, they're
No,
bakery.
this is a slum. That's
Plague,
the
though.
point.
I mean, they weren't too kindly to the likes of us. Probably they're on edge from, the dead commoners probably not begging outside.
I'm gonna be right back. Just have to give somebody some medication. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's a not necessarily stupid question, but a question that would have been smarter to ask 5 minutes ago when we were talking to the one guy at the door. How are these individuals dressed? Do they look official in any capacity, or any
No,
more official than the rest of us?
they do not. The only thing official that you saw was on the cask that they were carrying in. You did see the House Blackwood, but they are dressed in black. However, they are not in the enforcer uniforms that you know of House Blackwood. Intuition would say these are probably mercenaries.
Yes, the guard mentioned those earlier. But at the same time,
We are technically also would-be mercenaries, so on its face, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
yes. Lieutenant Dan, he should be back here shortly, shouldn't he? Shall we wait to see if he returns before these lot try to make their escape?
Well,
Sure.
someone should keep an eye on this only other window, and then I guess the rest of us can hang out by the front door. I'll give it 30 minutes, and then
Actually,
I say we burst in.
Where is this back door located on this
There's
map?
no back door.
Didn't
It's
we
a
see
window.
them?
It's
We saw their
that
enter
random.
The window is right there.
Wait, so they entered with the barrels from the front door?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what they said.
Oh, for some reason that didn't register. I thought they were going through a door.
They did.
A back door. I didn't think they were going through the front door. I have a solution to our problem. I will go, and I have a bell on me. Surprisingly, I'm going to attach that with some of my rope to the seal of this window. So if it be opened, the motion would trigger the bell to ring. Can't have eyes everywhere.
I'm gonna go back around this way, and I would like to peek through the window one more time and check on our dusty friend in there.
You can see that he's moved around to the head of the table. He's ripped off his cloak, he's taking his gloves. He's trying to get all that stuff off of him. And, one of the other guards is laughing at him, and the guy that come to the door initially starts headed back into the lobby.
Okay.
Right. Waddle.
And you can see him make his way to the front door, and he opens the door and he's like, "You're all still here?"
Yes.
We're waiting for Dan.
I said we would wait for Dan. What did you expect me to do? Actually leave? No. That's why I asked to come in.
Well, you're not coming in. I told you. I come back when Dan's here. Come back tomorrow.
No, I don't think I will. I'm going to sit here, prowling outside your front door like some
horrible dapper scarecrow until he returns.
We're well within our rights to be out here. We're not commoners. We have the ability to be out here at this time of day without the curfew interfering with us.
And he yells in the back, "Hey fellas, we got a little problem."
Problem?
And,
good.
he just kind of looks back at you there, and he's just got this grin.
Are you looking for a fight, man? I'm just standing here.
And one of the other guards, "Hey, what's up?" And, the other guard goes, "We got some nosy people."
Yes, I'm committing the horrible, grievous sin of standing next to a wall while waiting for your boss to come back.
Who are you waiting on?
Lieutenant Dan.
Huh. Are you really that dumb, or are you just new?
Literally just came here a few hours ago.
Well, that explains it. The sun's down. Lieutenant Dan's on his way home. He ain't coming back into the district tonight. And, while he's talking, he's moving up closer. You see Mr. Dusty. Mr. Dusty is just in a foul temper, and, you can tell he's very adamant about getting this grain off of him.
Google kind of laughs as he sees the other guy come in. Have a bit of a bakery accident?
What's it to you?
Oh, nothing. You're just looking very flowery.
I'm back.
I don't recall Thyme being so dusty.
It's none of your business. And he looks over to the first guy, and he's like, "I think we're done here. We better get going."
Yes. If he's not coming back, then I suppose we'll mosey along as well.
And, he very nonchalantly pushes you out of the way, and the three of them work their way outside of the building, and they lock the door.
How dare they?
Oh no, we'll never get in now. But Goodwill motion to the others, and we'll start walking away from them. Around the corner, out of sight, leaving.
Yeah. Lieutenant Dan is very squirrely.
And you see them walk off in the other direction. And they round a corner and are out of sight.
Goodwill kind of holds up a finger, and now we wait for about a good 30 minutes or so. I want to see if they're actually gone.
Now, I have had a thought. I said a while ago I've rubbed shoulders with those of a thieves' guild not long ago. With the bare minimum knowledge I've obtained from that brief exchange, I've been educated on the extent of poisons, some of which don't have an effect on one unless they're Yeah. Oh my god. Unless they are eaten. Thank you. I was thinking of a better word, more eloquent word.
Ingested.
Yes. Thank you. Now I don't know if that is a poison, and I frankly it'd be a very far stretch to say it is. But if we were to go into that place, we could take some of that green residue and find out. Mind you, we're getting paid to figure out the source of this plague. And weakness of oneself and then death afterwards sounds a lot like a poison to me.
Skulk, you're probably one of the most verbose kobolds I've ever met.
We were told that this whatever this is not particularly contagious outside of this district.
I've heard certain battles being won in this underhanded manner. That certain armies would poison the foodstuffs of their rivals or their of the others of their enemy, and they would lay various horrible things. They would, poison the water, or they would defecate into the foodstuffs, starve out the enemy. A most underhanded and despicable practice, but I have heard of it in battles.
Yilva kind of just scoffs under her breaths and mutters the word cowards.
Paul was it? Yeah, he looks at the big armored fellow. He says, "You might be onto something there. Do we know when they started distributing the bread versus when the plague started? Did the distribution happen before or after?"
I don't think we ever found out. They just said he just showed up sometime in the copper in this copper district. So who knows?
Yes, I do believe that we should see about gaining entry to have a closer look at that flower.
All right. Well then.
And Goodwill
Kyron
turns to Skulk with a big shit-eating grin on his face, and he's like, "It's your time to shine, little man. Let's see you squirrel in there somehow."
Kyron looks around the corner. He doesn't see anybody. Well, I don't see him.
Alright.
But there's also a very nice window around back, if we're not forgetting.
Yes, I actually think that would be easier to find one's way through.
How big is that window, though?
How big am I?
Yeah, it's big. It's
I think
big
Iron Man
is
I think Iron Man is a bit more concerned about getting himself through the window.
Yeah,
I mean, if I were to enter through the window, I could open the door outside from inside.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll move around to the back and we'll have a look there.
Now, the question is, where are we storing this powder?
Oh, goodness, I'm not touching it.
I would rather not get it on anything other than my blade, personally.
Can't you make things float, Goodwill? You could just telekinesis it somewhere else.
Well, I mean, they must have like bags or pestles or one of the casks. Maybe you can see by just taking one of the casks there that are in there. Or not, I'm sure some kind of a small jar filled with sugar or salt or yeast. You could empty out and pour some of that powder into there.
Yes, I'll lift some of the powder into a container of some kind. I'm sure there's something in here.
All right, now you'd allow me to get to my business. Looking out this window, first I dismantle that bell trap I put up, and then I look at this window. This is a window which I could lift up to allow myself entry.
Correct.
Alright, I'm assuming there's no lock on this window. Or at least not a lock I could pick from where I am.
Correct. You're not seeing any evidence of a lock.
This allows some finesse. I'm going to look into my bag of tricks, and I'm going to click on the wrong bag of tricks. Oh my god. Alright, my thieves' tools. Alright, I'm going to pull out a crowbar from my thieves' tools, and I'm going to wedge it right at the lip of that window. And then with all of my kobold might, I'm going to jump onto that crowbar and use all my body weight to pull that out. Well, to pull pull the window up.
And Let's make an acrobatics or athletics. Just on the offhand chance of one.
Couldn't I do a thieves tool check?
Yeah,
so technically that is
I'll
a
give you
tool I
that.
can do.
Should have taken
That's
the
an
acrobatics
11.
now.
I mean, acrobatics and thieves tools are 6. They're the same.
That's good enough for you to open the window.
All right. Hopefully, I didn't break too much of the window's wood. Probably not. I'll jump in there. Now, I don't think my character can actually go through a window in Foundry, so you'd have to drag me in there. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we really need all of you to enter this building? I could just grab the powder and we could be on our merry way.
No, because if that thing is exactly what we think it is, you should not be grabbing it in any way at all. Allow me.
Oh, yes, I think I'll be putting it on some kind of... Well, I'll be setting up a bag of which you could then put it into the bag.
Yes, do that, and I'll do it here from the window, but first have a look around the room. Actually, we should have a look around the building itself, since we have free reign here.
Alright, I'll go... Someone have a look out in the front door while I go and...
No. Let's keep away from the front door.
Alright,
Bilbo's gonna try to climb in through the window here as well. Let me in! Let me in!
Well, hang on. If you're gonna do that here, let me make sure you don't mess up.
Going through a window.
There we go. You get to add guidance of a D3.
Feel the divine whispers of the gods in the back of my mind. Put your arms on the sill, lift up, and then bring up your feet. But yes, let's have a look around while we can.
All right, looking around the room. I assume it smells of bread and other wheat-based products.
It's exactly what you would expect to see in a bakery.
All right. I think the first course of action. I see some vials over here on the map. Could that they are vials.
It's spices and whatnot.
All right, whatever.
We're
Let me
going to
grab
investigate the room.
All right, I'm gonna grab a clear vial. I'm gonna walk over to this pouch, and I'm just gonna dump all the contents of this vial into this pouch. So now I have a empty vial. I don't know how bread's made.
It's not like that, I'll tell you.
My character wouldn't know. Alright, I have a container and a little cork to seal it.
Goodwill goes over to where he knocked over that bit onto the guy from earlier. He'll use his telekinesis to gather some of it up into a nice swirly ball of flour.
I'm gonna settle it on the table and then walk away from that vial.
And he will slide it into the container and then cork it.
You know, I'll give him a Skull. Give him a clap for his efforts. Such finesse.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you managed to get some of the mixed grain into the bottle and get the cork on it.
This isn't the first time I've carried around powder with me.
Oh?
Let's not discuss it. And he kind of takes the vial and he thumbing it over and don't really want to carry this with me, but I don't see much of a choice other than to float it around. Oh, yes, obviously. You are definitely more expendable than me. And he hands the vial over to Skull.
I think you mean more proficient with dealing with such things, but I'll chalk it up to not being knowledgeable.
Well, yes, of course. That's what I said, right? I think I said that. And then he's gonna head down south, and he's gonna like lean in to listen at the doors here.
Yova, in the chat, you'll see your name with the dice. You'll click the dice to make a perception check. Wow.
I'll try and make a perception check, you mean?
You all suck.
Well, my passive is supposed to be really good.
From behind you, you hear, "I knew you all were up to something sneaky." And as Volva, as you and Brother Stern turn around, you see the 3 half-orcs are standing behind you. And
oh, good, they're back.
Yeah, and they draw their they pull out, they have their clubs ready for action, and it's time to roll initiatives.
Damn it, you had one job, guys.
Ooh, I get to go first.
Battle has
No, you
begun.
Technically, he does. We fucked our perception checks. It's a surprise round.
And
Oh, that's I thought Skull rolled high.
yeah, he's just gonna come down and flail on Brother Stern, which is a hit, non-crit, and holy shit.
You want to like not roll those privately?
Oh, sorry.
No, you don't get to see.
Yeah, he can roll it privately if he wants. It's his game.
Just making it up as he goes along.
There you go. You can see now.
Oh, I can see. What do I see? Nothing, because it's not my turn. It's
Okay.
Skull's turn.
It's my turn, yes. I'm dead.
Yeah, Skull is gone. He's vanished.
Why are you dead?
Alright, so next turn.
Yeah, he's gone.
Now I'm literally gone.
He's died and he's gone. Yep. Minus
Okay.
turn.
Alright.
You're no longer dead.
Lovely. I guess I breathed the poison and then exhaled. Alright, so I assume I'm hearing a scuffle outside by the window.
I mean, you can see them through the window.
Yes.
From the angle I'm at, I probably would not have an easy time seeing it from the window. I'm gonna just crawl under the table to walk over. I'm gonna jump onto this basin of some kind. And I'm gonna try to... Well, I see this guy try to attack... I see this guy with a weapon swinging at Kyron. My brother Kyron Stern. So I'm going to throw a rock through the window at this guy that hit him. If it will do the attack I'd like it to do, but it will not. Use action. My sling. Boom. I should be getting advantage from pack tactics. Oh my god. A 2 and a 1. I don't think I hit. Yes.
Oh, come on. That's an 8. You rolled an 8.
I did roll an 8.
That was a swing and a miss.
I fling the rock straight through the glass of the window and hit absolutely nothing as the rock stands at the windowsill. That I guess that would end my turn. I don't have extra attack. I'm a rogue. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's my turn. Let's see right through the window there. Nice clear line of sight. How do I wish to make a circle.
No circle shall be made.
Top left-hand corner, you got the second icon down. It's shaped like an L.
Oh, perfect. I can hit all of them. So you see Goodwill, he raises his cane, he points it towards the window, and outside, suddenly, there's kind of a distortion in the air around the guys, where suddenly it seems like a force is crushing down on all three of them as he casts Magnify Gravity. And they're going to make me some saving throws here. Constitution saving throw. See, we got 1 failure, 2 successes. Failed save takes 2d8, so the failure will take 12 damage there. Ouch. And its speed is halved until the end of its next turn. On a successful, it takes half damage, so the other ones will take 6 damage.
6 damage on 2, and Cross Guy gets full damage. Boom, boom, boom.
And then as a bonus action, I'm going to shove the one directly in front of our cleric friend 5 feet away from him with telekinetic shove. Or I'm going to have to pass my turn because I clicked the wrong thing. Come on, man. How do I
Hey.
I lost my sheet.
Double click on your character art. On your character on the map.
There. Where is my telekinesis? Ah, there it is. Okay, telekinesis. So he's going to, the one directly in front of Paul there, is going to give me a strength saving throw.
Haha! And he passed.
Okay, so he does not get shoved back. And that is the end of my...
All right. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and rage. See if this will function.
There's rage.
Rawr.
And charge right at this guy who's near death.
I am woman, hear me roar. I'm pretty sure
getting at this.
20 hits. And you hit the one, you're going after the one that's near death, right?
Yep.
And he dead now.
All right. And what is that, like 10 feet of movement? I'm gonna just go the rest of the way up here and glare menacingly at the other guy.
Make ready, your turn comes.
Okay, what should I do here? Alright, I will use my Shield of Faith on myself. So, thank you. I'll use my free interact action to draw my sword, and then I will.
Did you use that on yourself, or did you use it on the other guy?
You used it on the guy you're gonna hit.
He
So
needs
I
help.
had him targeted. Yeah, I had him accidentally targeted. Sorry. How do I take that out? Let me.
I want to untarget him, and I want to make sure you're selected, and well, shit.
Hang on. Where is this? Here we go.
Turn that off on him. So yeah, cast it back on yourself again.
Okay. Let me just target myself again. I guess I have to do that first.
Yeah, and then refund your spell slot.
Yeah.
Okay, and apply.
There you go.
And it's on you. Yay!
Great. Great. Yeah, initially use like spells automatic auto self-targeting me. Sorry. Alright, so that's done. The Shield of Fate, because I'm usually like dragging it onto my icon than it is for me actually doing that thing. So I do that, Shield of Faith on myself, free interaction, draw my sword, and I'm going to attack the guy who just hit me. Alrighty. Alright.
Oh, and that was a hit.
I believe in you.
You're telling me I had to roll a 4 or higher, and I roll a 2 and a 1?
Yeah. Alright, so that's my bonus action, that action, and I'm good to go. So I will end my turn. If I can... Where's my... Here we go, end turn.
It is your turn.
Okay, and we are gonna club. And yes, that missed. And yeah, we're gonna move up for flanking. Should have done that last time.
It's your turn.
And
Skulk is still dead in combat tracker.
No. Pretty good advantage we got there.
and that was a miss. And that should
rolled 2 4s.
Add advantage.
What?
That didn't. It's his dice are rolling twice for some reason, but that wasn't an advantage.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind
That
of...
makes a little bit more sense.
Kind of curious, so... Yeah, that hit at advantage, it did, so boom. Oh, shit.
You targeted the wrong guy.
Was that on me, or was that on...
Yeah, you wouldn't have got advantage on the...
On Kyron. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no shit. Apply.
And if you did hit the barbarian, that would have been half the 3.
Okay, so, and he is not... I can clear all. Okay, so yes, he did hit, and he attacked Brother Stern.
So why did he get advantage on me?
Yeah, well, what do you get advantage for?
Oh, no, you, never mind. You are indeed correct. If I would have attacked Sheer, I would have had advantage. So, yeah, that was a miss.
Alright, so
Might wanna give that man HP back.
Yeah, HP back, please.
7 HP.
And
No, I'm -7.
Oh yeah, I'm still unconscious somehow, so
Better than dead.
plus
I got my
7.
turn skipped from the unconscious. I don't know why I'm unconscious.
Yeah, you should be at 7 of 14, right?
Right.
Yes.
Let me just do that. Here we go.
There we go.
And unprone him.
And unprone.
And Sculpt is still considered dead by
Very
the combat tracker.
I have no idea why. It is my turn though.
No, the combat tracker is clear. It's mine. Don't worry. I'll use your turn for you.
Oh, don't worry. I'll give you your turn after I say my last words in my fallen state.
He's just kind of, he looks outside, he thinks they got it in hand, so he lays down on the floor and he raises, he's like,
Dying, help me. Swing, bada,
He
bada.
died of shame after he missed that.
Nat 20, baby.
Nice.
No need for advantage.
Oh.
So that's going to be 9 plus sneak attack. Which is also gets doubled. God knows I needed to be doubled.
uh-huh.
Okay, so that gets doubled, and your sneak
When
attack,
I mean doubled, I don't...
your sneak
Like
attack does not get doubled.
It doubles
No,
the
sneak
dice.
attack does get.
Yeah, I don't think I understand the double. I just roll a second die with sneak attack.
Right.
So I roll a second die for my sneak attack
you
as
got
well.
you got double. You got 18 instead of 9 for your crit.
I don't do double damage. I just roll a second
never mind.
dice.
Yeah.
Which means my sneak attack also rolls a second dice.
So I'm gonna give him back 9 points. Who the hell
Yeah,
is
he
this?
takes
down
what?
regardless.
He takes 1, 5, 9. He takes 13 damage, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 14. You got a 9
14,
there.
14, yeah.
1
14.
and a 4, so that's supposed to be 14 damage he took.
He takes 14 damage. So I guess he
Okay,
doesn't
so
take
if,
4
if
of that
he
18.
took 14 damage, he is dead.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that
I
to
broke
say,
the glass with the first attack, so I could hit him with the second.
Yes, he
That's what we'll
is
call it.
dead because he only had 13 HP, and you dealt 14 damage.
Okay.
No, I can't call it non-lethal because I have no idea how to swing this weapon effectively. I just swing it until it kills, which is once.
just a rock and a hacky sack, man. Come
Absolutely.
Like, this is a massive hacky sack for my size.
So anything else you want to do?
I'll use my movement to jump through the window. Sure. I cannot jump through the window. Still a wall,
And
technically.
you jump through the window.
Maybe don't kill the last guy. Probably not a good idea when Mr. Lieutenant Dan comes around. That'll end my turn.
Oh, we can't leave them alive.
We can leave them in a semi-state of being alive, called unconscious and paralyzed,
I'll think about it.
and figure out what the green powder does with the live subject.
I can't move?
Are you
Oh yeah, I
stuck
have
in
to
the
hit
wall?
space.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. So I'm just gonna move up, and I'll point my finger at the last man out there, and I'm going to whisper something to him as I use vicious mockery. And he's gonna give me a DC 14 saving throw.
DC 14.
He's got 1 HP, I guarantee it.
Oh, and he failed.
So he takes
Yeah.
1 damage, and he has disadvantage on his next attack roll. Yeah, he had 1 HP. I knew it.
Okay, so you managed to defeat the 3 half-orc lackeys. You have a sample of this mixed grain. Hopefully it is not hopefully it was worth 3 people dying for.
They're half orcs. Who cares?
They probably got hit by the plague.
Yeah.
And a bunch of weapons.
It happens all
Plague
the
of
time.
swords.
And I'm gonna stick my my eyeballs into the. Excuse me?
What do I lack permission to do?
Why did I just suffer exhaustion?
Everybody did. Everybody's suffering a lot of exhaustion.
Yeah, I just
Ignore it. He has a built-in
glitch.
where if you were to
Yeah,
get down.
that shouldn't have applied to anybody.
Especially not the NPCs.
In any case, Goodwill's gonna stick his head in these 2 doors down to the south of him before we run off.
Where's my... Here we go.
Give me a second. Clearing effects on people.
No problem.
Since I cannot go through the window normally, I will do the pro strat.
But you can go through the window.
I have to jump over it and all that. It's a lot of upper
The
arm
DM
strength.
can move us through the window, but we ourselves cannot move our tokens
Yeah.
through the window.
Oh, okay. I just got moved into there. All right, so...
Okay.
Well, now that we're...
Yeah, opening the doors, you see a bedroom and a storeroom containing loaves of baked bread.
Anything of interest in these rooms that I give them a quick look over?
No.
Alright, time to leave.
Really? Nothing of interest?
I will use
That's
my...
not there. That's not there.
I will use my medicine skill to see if I can try to figure out here, actually, were they trying to poison or using anything in here that would be harmful to people that they were trying to do?
Well, that's what we got the sample for.
Yeah.
All right, but I'm going to try like other stuff in case there's anything else there or anything else that seems like, okay, this doesn't really belong here in the bakery.
Yeah. Do you want to start with your medicine skill on the leftover spilled grain?
Okay, yep, I'm going to carefully examine that, trying to not get it any on myself, and...
And,
give yourself
yes.
guidance on that.
oh yeah, I could have used that.
Just a real quick glance. You see that something is wrong with the grain. You're pretty convinced that, yes, it is contaminated grain that they were mixing in.
Alright, so that's added 3 to that, so that'll be 16. Alright.
Let's get out of here quick before
I believe you were correct. That, it does appear that whatever that stuff is, it's not good. It does appear to be some kind of harmful thing here. And... Ooh. Door open?
Yeah, I already looked in there. Apparently it's nothing.
Oh, there's nothing in
Nothing
there?
of note.
Yeah, nothing of note.
Okay.
I don't know what the funky little token is.
Yeah, I was like wondering what the heck is that thing there? It's like I don't know of any baker that has that.
It's just a pre-made map.
Okay. And there's nothing in there that I can see. Alright. Yep. Okay then. So
Well,
then,
feeling
Finding
kinda
out
hectic.
the window.
Let's go eat some bread while we're in here.
No, don't eat any of this.
alright.
Yeah, we need to leave.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Although first, let's pick over their bodies. Then we'll leave.
Yeah. We can arm the peasants with their weapons.
No, those are all for me. Also, I want to see if they have.
Out of the three of them, they have clubs, and one of them has leather armor.
Useless. All right, let's get out of here.
Okay.
Although before we leave, I'm going to make absolutely sure that all three of them are dead. We don't need witnesses. You kind of see Goodwill kind of pull a boot or a knife from his nice shoes. Just quick jab to the neck of each one.
And not to be that guy, but I'm going to ask. Are you just going to leave the contaminated sacks of grain?
I've got an idea. Let's drag the corpses in here. Then whoever comes back in the morning can make their own decision.
That would be smart. Leaving bodies out there like this is, leave them in the inside. Plus, also, who's to say they would believe us when we tell them we found a bakery filled with contaminated grain and we give them a set of this, whatever this is? They may not believe us.
Exactly. So let's bring the bodies in here, and we'll see what happens tomorrow morning.
There is a fire we could light in here to just toss the bags of grain into.
That would be destroying evidence, my good man.
I mean, we risk the people. I mean, who was supplying these bags of grain in the first place?
That would be the Blackwood family, apparently.
So I don't think this is the only bags of grain we'll be finding.
No, you don't understand. The grain was already here, and then they brought those barrels in, and they mixed the stuff from the barrels with the grain that was already here.
But what do we know which one is from the barrel or which one is the grain when it comes to this?
We shouldn't touch any of it at all. Bring the bodies in here, and we'll write a little note before we take off. How about that?
All right. I mean, it's a pretty safe assumption that Blackwood had something to do with this. Obviously.
I'm not so sure about that.
Blackwood barrel and Blackwood wheat, Blackwood flour.
Let's discuss it whenever we get out of the murder space. And he starts dragging bodies into the kitchen area. He'll leave one of them just kind of like laid across the table. And then he'll take a bit of pen and parchment and say, found these three inside. Sorry for the mess. Grain is contaminated. And he won't sign it or anything. He'll just kind of like put the paper down on the chest of the guy he left on the table, and then he'll take the pen and he'll just kind of stab it through the paper in the guy's chest to hold it in place.
I would also like to mention, for what it's worth, we still don't technically have an official employer. We just did this leg of investigation work for effectively free.
I don't need a reason to hurt people.
Well, yes, your official job is to, assist with relief efforts. But Sandor also made the offer of 50 platinum suns to, whoever could find the reason behind the plague.
I'm feeling very relieved, so let's get out of here.
If you do believe that it's Blackwood may be behind this, then the person you would need to speak directly would be Sandor, and not the lady who put up the fires.
We're moving away from the bakery now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm glad I have no blood on me.
Kind of feels like we're leaving 50 platinum suns behind, but okay.
As we're leaving behind, Goodwill's like, I don't believe the Blackwoods were behind this. If that was the case, then they would just bring in the grain pre-contaminated. They wouldn't do it here on the spot.
Highboy just shrugs like, I don't know, this, when it comes to politics, I don't know anything about that type of stuff. Battlefield tactics, yes. Politics, no.
But let's get clear. We'll come back in the morning and we'll see if there's some manner of ruckus here around the bakery.
Just gotta step away for a second. Just got a medical alert. I gotta investigate. I'll be right back.
No problem. This is a really good spot to take 10.
Take that.
Okay.
Yeah, we made a lot of progress for an hour and 30 minutes.
Yes.
So you too.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
Damn, this is a long take 10. It's a very long take 10.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. So glad to be back.
And I'm so glad that God did not smite your router again.
He's calling for it. He wants it to happen. You can hear it in his voice.
Why did you say it? Why did you say it?
You know, wasn't the earthquake today enough?
I'm sure your fridge won't lose power and all of your stuffs will go rotten. I'm sure that will happen.
This is being mean now.
I'm sure I won't roll on that one, the first roll of the game.
You know, if we didn't have a new fridge, I'd be pissed that you said that. We find my cigarettes and we'll get this game started again.
All right.
Okay, so you make it back to the tavern and so forth. You know, it's still relatively early in the evening.
All right.
Well, I mean, was that the only bakery? Was that the only bakery that was supplying the bread? Because
let's head back, get out of the district, get some distance, and go talk to what was his nuts? Oh man, that's
Bandor.
Bander. I think that was it.
Something doesn't check out timeline.
Sondar.
These guys said that Lieutenant Dan wasn't going to show because it was getting late. You know, we go back to the place, to the tavern. It's relatively early in the day.
No, it's still relatively early in the evening. You know, it's 9:30.
This way, like he clocked out at 5 o'clock and went home. We hit the bakery at around like 7 or 8ish.
9:30 is early in the evening.
Yeah, for normal people, I know.
In a big city, yeah.
In any case, yeah, we'll need to leave and go talk to Sondar.
Sondar.
And while you are headed out of the district, you know, you go through the same checkpoint that happens to have the same guards that you were coming in, and you know, they ask if you know, they said they had a message from Lieutenant Dan that he would be around the infirmary in the morning, And that would be a good place for you all to find him.
Apparently he heard that we were looking for him. Must have been those guards that we spoke to earlier.
Well, you know, there is a little bit of professionalism at play here in the Blackwoods.
Goodwill kind of gives the guy a side eyes, like, really? If you say so. But we'll be back tomorrow morning, then.
Okay.
Yes.
And you want to go see Sandor, but yeah, you have no idea where his office or home is at.
Sondar Lackman. He's a member of the Copper District Council, so I imagine we would have to run them down.
Yeah.
We'll just have to go through where the Copper District Council meets. I'm sure they have like a meeting hall or something to that effect.
Probably closed this late. Let's go there tomorrow before we hit Dan's.
And you know, what are you going to say to him?
We walked around. We helped out. Found a bakery. Apparently something terrible happened there, and some of the grain that was being distributed got infected with some manner of poison. We took a little sample here.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything further than that.
Yeah, I was looking for someone to appraise it.
Yes, I hear it's a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
And hopefully you won't implicate yourself in a triple homicide.
I don't know anything about that.
You've been looking at the code legal for quite a while now, Wintermute.
Yes, we went to the back window, we opened it, I magicked a little vial of the stuff into my hands, and we got out.
Okay. Shall we call it a night and fast forward to the day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. It's early morning, the sun, it's another bright day in the City of Splendors. What do you want to do first?
Now, first I want to ask around and see if we can locate where the Copper District Council is based at, so we can give our report. And get.
I assume this includes a long rest.
Yes, it does. And party sheet.
Oh, did I click on button?
And long rest. Okay. Yes, it doesn't take long for you to find the location of the meeting hall for the Copper District City Council.
We'll go ahead and head on in, and we'll ask around about Sondar, since he's the one who put us in that direction.
Yeah, and as luck would have it, he's actually there, and he recognizes you from yesterday, and he goes, what can I do to help you fellas?
Mr. Lackman, might we speak with you privately?
Why, certainly, and he pulls you into a side room and shuts the door, and he's like, what's so urgent?
Well, we did as you bid, and we headed on into district and helped around a bit. As we were exploring, we came across 3 suspicious individuals who were carrying... Sorry?
4 suspicious individuals.
4.
Yep.
Oh, I don't remember the exact number. In any case, a group of suspicious individuals carrying what looked to be barrels of something or other into the bakery where the bread for the district was made. We waited until they departed, and we opened up the back window, and I may have procured a vial of said grain that I'd like for you to take a look at. It was suspicious. They were mixing the grain with the stuff that was already there.
I, Scout, shall retrieve the vial from my coat and show it to the group.
Well, you know, he takes the vial and he looks at it and he's like, well, you know, I'm not much of a baker, but you know, that part of that grain does look a little funny to me. And
I would recommend having it more closely examined by someone knowledgeable. In any case, we only obtained that one sample before we had to run off. We didn't want to get caught.
Well, I can understand that, and I'll keep this hush-hushed, and you know, you know, it could just be bad grain. Do you think something more is at foot?
I think that we saw 3 people mixing 3 barrels of bad grain with the good stuff that was already there, which is beyond strange.
What is most shocking is I believe we saw one of them get some of that bad grain on them. They were panicking as if it was acid. Of course, it's not acidic, but the point being is it was not something they wanted on them, so I don't think it's just grain that they were dealing with.
He's holding the vial with both hands, and when you mentioned getting it on him and the panic, you know, he quickly but very cautiously sets the vial down on the desk, and you know, he's like suddenly very afraid to even touch it, and he's like, well,
don't open that.
With that observation, I'll get someone to analyze it, and guys, if someone is, I'm sorry, group, if someone is poisoning the grain, you know, that's very serious, and you didn't recognize the guys?
No,
They're
they
not from
were.
the Copper District. We have no idea who they are.
Yes, and they were hooded. Besides, we couldn't get a good look at them.
They were.
I can tell
They were all half
features
orcs, right?
were orcish.
I couldn't say.
And about that time, there's a knock on the door, and he yells, "Come in!" and you see this assistant come in and walks over and leans down and whispers something in his ear, and he's got this shocked look on his face, and then
I try to hear what the assistant said.
he looks around. Yeah, you can try a perception roll if you'd like.
Try to do so.
And yeah, you catch just enough to know that the assistant is informing the councilman of the 3 bodies found dead in the local bakery that's supplying the relief efforts.
Okay, he hasn't said anything to us yet.
Yes.
And he listens, and he's got this shocked and surprised look on his face, and he's like, "Gentlemen, I'm terribly sorry. My assistant just informed me about this crime scene that just so happened at one of the bakeries. Y'all wouldn't know anything at all about that, would you?"
Crime scene? What do you mean?
Well, they
Was there a
found
break-in?
3 half-orcs dead in the bakery that's supplying the relief efforts.
Maybe
Oh,
they
my.
got exposed to the that stuff. He points to the vial.
Well, that would be very dumb of them if they died from the very thing that they were poisoning the grain with. In any case, we don't really know anything about it. We just took the sample and ran.
I didn't think you would. For right now, guys, let's just keep all this between us. And if you dig around and if you happen to find out anything else, or any concrete evidence of who might be behind this, we don't have a lot in the Copper District, but I'll make sure you get rewarded.
We'll keep our ears and eyes open. Although for now, I'm very interested in hearing what you learn about that vial.
Yes.
Yes, come back and talk to me tomorrow, and I'll let you know what my experts were able to find out.
Very good. Then we'll leave you be. We're on our way to speak with one Lieutenant Dan, since he seems to be in charge of the district at present.
Oh, tell Lieutenant Dan I said, hey.
I'll pass it along. And we'll bid him goodbye, and we'll skedaddle on out of there.
Waddled away.
Yes, we should probably clarify for future reference. If anybody asks, were you at the scene of a crime, or do you know anything about it? The answer is no, I wasn't there at the time.
Here's something. I recall. Alright, GM, when we saw those half-orcs bring the barrel in, for some reason I recall you saying that there was a... Oh my god, not Blackstone. I'm forgetting... Oh my god. Blackwood. A Blackwood...
Logo on the side, yes.
Yeah, logo on the barrel. I didn't ask this because for some reason I thought I had already asked it, but when they were mixing the grain, was it obvious they were grabbing the grain from that barrel? The spoiled grain?
Yes. There were no other barrels in there like the ones that they carried in.
Alright. So, just to clarify, obviously there's two sets of grain. The fine grain, the edible grain, and then the spoiled, potentially poisoned grain. And the potentially poisoned grain was Blackwood barrel.
Correct.
Alright. I just wanted to clarify on that, because that does kind of change something.
And before you all leave, since we're kind of working together, I'm just going to ask you point blank. Can I trust you?
Are you paying?
Like I said, if you can help me find out if this grain is being poisoned and who's behind it, I will make sure that you are rewarded.
Then yes, you can trust me.
Even if somebody offers me more, the first agreement stands before anything else.
And, he gets up and he goes back over to the door because the assistant didn't shut it. And he shuts the door and he's like, some of the Blackwood enforcers that I have talked to have stated that the body collection, they're taking these carts and laden with bodies, and they're supposed to be going to the Temple of Mysteria.
Yes.
The Mistress is the one of magic.
Yeah. I was pasting it in the chat there and was having a hard time copy and pasting. And where did my journal go? And we're right there. But they're supposed to be taking the bodies to the temple for cremation. And I've known a few people who have passed away due to the plague, and I went to the temple to pay my respects, and found out that no dead have been delivered, not a single one. And that made me curious, so I followed one of the plague carts, and I followed it to the temple, and we passed the temple. And then, I don't know if the guy figured out I was following him or what, but he lost him in the winding streets. And if you wouldn't mind, while you're poking around about the grain, will you just see what you can find out about what's actually happening to the dead bodies? But please, please, do it discreetly. I don't need this causing a panic.
Could be any number of things. But, yes, we could look into the snaps.
Oh, I appreciate it. As you can tell, everything is just chaos right now for our council, and
I'm going to assume that you don't want us to ask Lieutenant Dan about the missing bodies.
Not outright.
I'll see if I can edge around it.
The word I used is discreetly. And
yes, quite.
Trust no one.
In any case, I believe we'll be going then. He looks to the others.
Mm-hmm.
I think we know more than our dearest acquaintance does, so there's not much use dilly-dallying.
Right. Let's get underway then.
All right. Off to find Lieutenant Dan?
Yes, we will speak with Mr. Dan, and I guess we'll just ask him about the situation in the district and other things.
Okay. You make it to the district. You find the ramshackled infirmary, and it is overflowing with these coughing, sick plague victims. And they are just all over. And as you can imagine, it's chaos. You got healers going around trying to make people comfortable and, promising false cures and so forth. And
Yes, quote unquote plague. In any case, let's see if we can find Dan the Man.
Yeah, you are able to ask around, and one of the attendants in the infirmary says, he's probably in the command tent right next door.
Thank you, and we'll head on over there.
I must ask you before we all enter. What allegiance do you think this Lieutenant Dan holds with our search? Do you think he'll be on our side with this solving the plague?
No, he's been hired by the Blackwood family. His first allegiance will be to his paycheck, so we need to be very careful about what we say to him.
Yes, I think it'd be a good idea to try to further our with these Blackwoods so where more information is given to us.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of shady dealings that they are doing, and I imagine if we were to try to take the roles of those half-orcs, they would probably give us less than scrupulous jobs, which would allow us to gain more evidence.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Goodwill kind of holds up his finger. You mean the half-orcs that we caught, quote-unquote, poisoning the grain for the district?
I am not saying we should do those jobs exactly. I'm just saying...
Those are exactly the kind of jobs they would ask us to do. And here's the thing about those kind of jobs. They're for dumb people, because eventually they get caught and then executed or thrown in prison.
Yes.
Which is why
I'm not saying
won't
we take
be
those
doing that.
jobs. I'm saying we get to the point where they'd offer those jobs. 'Cause that means they'd trust us enough to get to places they wouldn't allow others.
And who would you talk to about that kind of work?
I've not a clue. That's why I'm saying we'd want to get our reputation as a malleable lot of adventurers willing to do questionable activities.
Now, here's the problem with that. They already have an armed force at their beck and call. We're going to speak with them right now.
They did hire those half-orcs, I'm assuming, so clearly they're willing to hear out clearly they're willing to buy sellswords.
But we're making the assumption that the Blackwoods hired those orcs. We don't know that.
Well, it's an assumption I'm willing to stand by. I'm not saying we do my plan to a T, I'm just saying if it does tend to happen, I think we should write it out. It could be fruitful. That's all I'm saying.
Noted. But let's not say any of that to the guy who is supposed to be in charge of security for the district, no?
I did not intend to. But I am ready to go in if you all are.
Okay. You go one tent over, and after the chaos of the infirmary, this tent is busy, but it's a controlled chaos. Things are very ordered. You see Lieutenant Dan sitting behind a desk, and he's talking to one of his people, and they're talking about they need more volunteers if they are going to continue helping people at this rate.
Goodwill will step up, just kind of keep on the edge of the conversation. He won't say anything. He'll just wait for them to finish and acknowledge him.
Yeah, and yeah, this goes back and forth for a couple of minutes, and finally, Lieutenant Dan finishes his conversation and looks at you and says, "What can I do for you?"
Good morning. We're here on behalf of the Copper District Council to assist with the situation here in the district. We were hoping we could ask you for some information or direction on where our efforts would best be focused.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so Sandor sent you, huh?
Well,
did he give you
Sondar.
did he give you papers?
Yes, they're right here. And Goodwill presents his papers.
And he looks at him and he's like, "Yeah, everything is in order." And oh, yeah, you were the guys that were looking for me yesterday, weren't you?
Quite right.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll get you all taken care of, and I'm so glad that you come and seen me today. I'm in a bind. I'm in a bind. Do you all know how to bake?
The bake?
Yeah. We had an incident at our bakery yesterday, and this morning, 3 bodies were discovered there, and my normal workers are scared to come in.
Oh my, that sounds awful.
Baking is not common where I'm from, so no, I do not know how to bake.
My people don't know how to mill grain, so flour is not something I'm used to working with.
I don't typically do peasant work, but I could try to speak with the workers and cajole them back into their posts, if you wish.
Well, I was really hoping you'd just go down there and bake some damn bread for me today. The district is really in need, and I don't know how we're going to feed people today. Can you at least go lend a hand? If I find someone that can bake?
I mean,
Could you just point me towards the people in question who are supposed to be doing the job, and I'll speak with them.
He points out to a group of, there's like 6 individuals standing around. You can tell by their aprons and so forth that they're the bakers, and they're giving some lower officer hell, stating people died there last night. It's not safe. What about our safety? It's bad enough having to work in plague conditions, and yada, 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 yada.
Not a peep about the note denoting the poisoned grain?
No.
That's Goodwill. Go ahead and he'll head on over, and they'll seek to get their attention. Excuse me, do I understand that you're supposed to be the bakers?
Yes, we are the bakers.
Why are you here, then? Was there some manner of incident? I heard there was murder? He questions them.
Yeah, they found 3 dead bodies in our bakery this morning.
Oh my, that's terrible. How many of you died?
None of us. We weren't
None of
there.
you?
We don't know who these people were.
Well then, what's the problem?
3 people died. We're scared that, someone might come back to avenge their deaths. collateral damage, and we don't want to be the collateral.
My good man, you bake bread for the whole district that's currently starving. Nobody's going to lay a hand on you. Your hands are gold right now. Those three were probably just some manner of casualties of gang warfare of some such.
Gang warfare, that's the last thing that we need in the middle of this epidemic.
Oh, please.
Now we gotta worry about gangs?
This district. I've heard about this district. Don't pretend like it was a nice, spotless place before the plague. But you're missing my point. Your services are infinitely valuable. Nobody's going to touch you.
What guarantee do I have?
The guarantee is that if anybody hurts you, then they'll starve to death.
May I ask you a question? You said these weren't bakers like yourself?
If they were, we never saw them.
Did you even see the bodies?
The one guy goes, I was opening the bakery this morning and saw the carnage in the kitchen, and I hollered for one of the guards and they ushered me out, and we haven't been allowed back in. Not that we want to go in.
Well, so you're not allowed in that place anymore. Not even right now to work, even if you wanted to.
Well, they're dealing with the body first. And then if we feel safe enough, we might go back to work.
I have a very hard time believing that simple bakers are going to be killed in their job, in their place of work. I have a feeling maybe those people were burglars of some kind, because I highly doubt 3 people just die in a bakery at any time of day.
Well, that's
and you
what
said
I'm
you
saying.
didn't know that, so I assume they're not actually.
And the one guy goes, when I went home last night, I wasn't expecting to find 3 dead bodies this morning either.
Well, obviously they broke in overnight and they paid for it.
Yeah.
Which leads to the question, who made them pay?
Well, likely the guards, and they didn't want to fill out the paperwork.
I mean,
you're supposed to be...
He's going to look directly at the baker and goes, do you believe in the power of the gods?
That's a stupid question to ask.
Well, now here, in your deepest hours of need, your entire district is full of pestilence and plague. And those who would then steal food from the masses or do nefarious things have now wound up dead in there. What I believe this is a sign. That this is a sign that the gods are looking out for you. They have sent some kind of instrument to help protect your shop, to protect it against those who go in there and to take from you the very bread that you help to feed this district. You,
there you go.
Have been given a great gift and blessing.
I think it's time for you to make a roll.
Okay.
Now, hold on a second. Why is he
persuasion or
you could make a roll too. All you have to do is say make a roll.
It's going to be a deception, performance,
so
or
both
persuasion.
of you make a roll, and
we're sitting there making all those good arguments, and the cleric comes in and is like, you, roll for it. No, come on.
You gotta ask us to roll. We don't just say we roll.
You roll first. How's that? Go ahead. Give me your roll.
No, I don't do it. No. I don't want to do it.
No, you're going to give me a roll. Don't make me turn this game around.
What would you like each of us to roll? Because I think there were 3 of us going there.
There was. I didn't really convince him. I just asked questions.
Persuasion, performance, or I didn't hear anything that was blatantly deceptive.
I mean, we just weren't mentioning that we were the reason for the bodies, is all.
Nat 20.
Oh wow, Kyron, they're feeling very
God
godlike.
really did. God actually helped him convince them.
Yes, God smited them.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't do half bad myself.
no, you,
Okay, yes. Between the two of them, you have managed to sway the entire group of bakers. And, they feel that it is their God-given civic duty to bake this bread and assist the district.
I don't know what's funnier, the random orc murder or just getting smited by the gods for breaking into a bakery.
I mean, one's a lot easier of a sell, but the other one removes suspicion on us. So
it is. He sent an instrument, me, to check for this to go well.
technically, we're also employed, so we were guards that stopped potential criminals.
I hope none of you are saying this out loud.
Absolutely not.
No.
But maybe.
Right.
But absolutely not.
I should really start investing points into charisma and into like this oration skill, like persuasion or something like that. I really should.
That's my thing, man. You can't be creeping into my territory. What do I do then?
I thought you were a mage. Seriously, with all the casting you're doing, I thought you were a mage.
I'm a warlock, dude.
Are you a paladin or a cleric?
I'm a cleric.
You're all mages as far as I'm concerned.
Lieutenant Dan is standing at the entrance to the tent, and he's, watching these fine speeches you all just gave, and how you convinced the workers to go back and start baking the bread and so forth. And yeah, he's really impressed.
We'll head on back to him after parting ways with the bakers then, and I'll say all settled. That should give the common folk the wherewithal to press on, I think.
They were much better bakers than us anyways.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm excellent at everything I do.
He looks at the kobold and he's like, yeah, I have no doubt about that.
I only speak the truth. I don't know why you would doubt me.
Oh, goodness gracious. In any case.
He's like, they're paying you all to be here, and you got out of baking bread, which was probably very fortunate for these poor individuals that would have to eat it. I need help. I need people manning a guard station. I need help in the infirmary. I need people to pass out bread. What would you like to do?
Well, I can certainly man a guard station.
I think passing out the bread would be better for us. Getting a chance to travel, to speak with the populace, to inspire them to battle against this sickness.
Against mobs of people.
Poor manual labor, so I'll just let you all decide.
Standing around a station, or standing around a bread line?
Well, actually, not standing around a bread line, because we're going to be traveling, going to various places to deliver the bread, are we not? Like on the car.
We're probably going to get swarmed for hours on end by mobs of people. It's probably literally going to be standing still. for most of that job.
Well, you've seen what the infirmary's like. You've seen what the bread carts are like. But it would give you a chance to move around the district in an official capacity.
Getting a chance to move in and go to different locations. Sometimes you may have to take a detour because the road is not that easy to take a cart across. You may have to go around the long way sometimes.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. And if you got a strong stomach, I even need body collectors.
That actually might be good for us.
No, I don't think it is.
Yes, it would be to help take those poor unfortunate ones and make sure to bring them to their resting place. I'm sure that the Councilman Sonder would like that as well.
I'll speak with you later.
Yeah.
Well,
There's just so many options, all of them so good. I am so happy to work on helping the unfortunate.
I'm so happy to hear that. And I tell you what, you two can go to the infirmary, and he looks at Yelva and Skulk.
Skulk Ratter. Skulk.
And he says, you two get guard duty.
Alright, well.
Fine by me.
The word. All right, I suppose. Standing around is not the word. Spend money.
Well.
So, you two are told to report to the big gates of the Copper City and so forth. You get there, you're met by an enforcer who, you can't let anybody through the gate unless they have the proper paperwork and so forth, and your shift begins. And, you're finding out that half of it is trying to keep people inside. Keeping inside the quarantine zone. You're seeing throughout the day there's some grain deliveries that are being made that you're authorizing to get through. For the two of you that's stuck in the infirmary, well, it's hell.
Well, it's not going to bother Kyron too much. He's got the medicine skill, and considering he thinks he knows the source of it here, can I try to have him use that knowledge plus his medicine skill to see what is a good type of way for people to get this bad bread that they're eating out of their stomach, like a diuretic or something that hopefully should help the symptoms? Because if they get rid of that, hopefully then this will, make them better.
Being
ingested, maybe he can try to do something like that.
I'm gonna say with your medicine and so forth, and being in the infirmary and having access to some equipment here and there, although as ramshackled as it is, you probably wouldn't be able to find the cure today, but you might be able to find the cause.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I'll do that then. I'll use the knowledge I have there from the bakery of that bad bread, what it could be, and working with the different people, I can maybe see about trying to figure out what is the actual true cause of it and what's the best way to try to cure it, or at least a treatment, a better treatment for it. So, cool.
And I'm going to make a note on that.
Mm-hmm.
Better on guard duty. Bad check for cause. All
that
right.
certainly was a turn of events.
So yeah, it is a busy, chaotic day, and it's sometime after 2 in the afternoon, and Skult, you and
Yulva?
Sorry. Was trying not to burp into the headset. Yulva, it's slowing down. You're having longer periods of not having to deal with anyone. And you see a plague cart making its rounds.
All right. Is it entering or trying to leave?
It's walking through the streets inside the quarantine zone. And it's literally a scene right out of Monty Python. Bring out your dead.
Is there a guy shouting that he feels happy?
I'm not dead yet. But, you can see the guy pulling stops occasionally and picks up a body that's been deposited out on the street. And he's continuing on down the street.
All right. He's still in the quarantine zone, so there's no reason for us to interfere with his affairs.
Well,
how many bodies do we see?
Everything is taking place right inside the quarantine zone. And there's a temple of Mysteria inside the Copper District.
How many bodies do I see in this cart?
Oh, there's at least 4 to 6 bodies.
4 to 6 bodies. Would I know how many hours I'd be doing this shift? I'd assume so.
Yeah, you still got a few more hours of guard duty, but things have slowed down. The guy that was training you said, the later in the day, the less people that care, and you're generally not busy.
All right. I think that will be all, unless they start to walk towards the leave out of the quarantine zone. Then I'll have to talk to them, but no point of leaving my post. Yep.
Okay, and the body collector just continues walking down the street, and eventually he's out of sight. A few long, boring hours for you to pass. Time goes a little bit quicker in the infirmary, but you know, at the end of your shift, you're going to really feel the desperation of the citizens of the Copper District.
It's a good thing I don't have a soul. Otherwise, I would be very deeply affected.
And, you know, the end of the shift comes to an end, and you all are free to go about doing whatever you would like to do.
Well, we're here at the infirmary. I imagine there's going to be a gathering of bodies here in a little bit.
Yes, and throughout the day, you have seen a couple of body collectors come and load up carts and take them away. And
I'll
you do
motion
have
to my companion and see if we can't follow him.
Which was what I was trying to get the Kobold to do, but he wouldn't leave his fucking post.
Hey,
Well, they weren't leaving.
He's got a job to do, man.
I was gonna follow them if they left. They never left. If they were leaving, then they'd go to the cemetery area.
Who knew you had a work ethic?
Not like those dirty Koado worshipping kobolds in the city. He knows what he's doing.
No, I genuinely thought that they'd have to leave the quarantine to bring the bodies, to the body burial place. So why would I follow them when they didn't leave?
They're not taking it to the cemetery or the temple. They're going somewhere else.
Well, I was told that they were walking by the cemetery to go to that place, so they still have to go, presumably.
Theron, while you're standing there talking to Skulk, you notice a flyer sticking out of one of his pouches. And you're able to make out that it's a flyer for the Temple of Finnegan.
Yeah, I should burn that. In any case.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, some time passes, and you can see this very tired individual is pulling a cart up, and he's loading up.
Yeah, we need to gather up the group and follow.
Yeah. Well, we're done here, Ylva. So,
well, we're done here, Ylva. I think we should go not here. Hopefully get our paycheck. But also join up with the rest of the bastards.
I agree. Let's go meet up with the others and yes, definitely collect the paycheck.
Alright.
Okay, so you all meet up, and you were told at the end of the shift, just go see the paymaster, and it's and they give each of you 4 silver shards.
Will you be distributing that, or we need to put it in ourselves? Oh, you did it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just distributed.
It's not that hard to do.
You distributed that to me, Chaos, and yourself.
I got some.
Oh?
I also have it.
Theon, Yova. Yeah.
Oh, I got a weird pop-up then.
Even Mushoot's got some.
Mushu!
He's not even here.
He's
Wow.
here in our hearts.
He's not even on the
Yeah.
party sheet. Must tag off of users. So, okay. You have each four silver shards. And you have a enforcer collecting bodies and loading them on the cart.
Well, now we're all in the party now, again, I believe.
Why don't we have the less nimble members of the party just kind of hang back, and we allow our nice, nimble kobold sneak along behind and keep track of the cart?
Sure. To inform you, Brother Kyron, the reason why we care much for the body collection gig is because the body collectors are not the body bringers. We don't go to the place where they get disposed of. We just bring them to the cart that does do that.
Right, but I was hoping that maybe if you were able to get access and try to recognize certain names or faces when you go to those people who move them, you can maybe try to, I don't know, mark one of the carts, see if I'll make it easier to track or find or follow or something else to that effect.
I mean, a body cart is a body cart. It's pretty easy to, distinguish between a body cart and a non-body.
Well, you don't mean peasants just have those lying around?
The peasants that can own carts in the Copper District? With what pay are they being given? There's no jobs to be found in the plague-stricken areas.
Well, they're dead, so not a lot, I imagine.
Yes, it's rather easy to tail any cart. There's only about a couple of carts that can go out and in.
Well, why don't you do that, and I will be along shortly.
So, whoever's following the cart, I need a stealth from you, please.
You know what? I will follow the cart. And you know what? I will stealth. And you know what? I almost rolled a nat 1.
That was,
but I didn't.
You didn't. You pulled through.
I pulled through. I got a 19. Got a 25.
Okay, yeah, you blend into the streets of the Copper District. And you start following this cart. And they lead you to, you see them go by, the small temple here in the Copper District, and it goes past it. And you see it turn down this small little alley, and it stops at a sewer grate. And the guy bends down, and you can't make out what he's saying, but you can tell that he's talking to someone who is actually in the sewer. And, between the two of them, they get the grate off the sewer, and the cart guy starts dropping the bodies down into the sewer.
All right. Looking around, is he the only one topside in this area?
Yes, but you can tell that there's at least 2 underground.
All right, from all the commotion. The rest of the party did not follow suit, I assume. I am by my lonesome.
We're waiting for you to come and get us, because I don't think it would be a very good idea to have Kyron follow around in his big, bulky, jingly armor.
Yeah. I assume I was following close to the cart, and yous were following ways. So if I were to backtrack a short amount of distance, I would see yous waiting for me.
Yeah, we're not too far away.
Yeah, so I'm just going to turn the last corner that guy took, and at the very far side of the road, you'll be seeing a little kobold boy jumping with much enthusiasm to get your attention. He doesn't feel like screaming because he's a bit too close to the target.
Goodwill's got this big shit-eating grin as he sees the kobold bouncing around.
Okay, you see an overjoyed bouncing kobold.
Well, we'll go join our companion, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you found something.
And while
Yeah.
he's backtracking and you all are advancing forward to meet up, the cart driver is dropping his last body down the grate.
Damn, either not a lot of people died, or he's really good at that job.
Well, it doesn't take long to dump 5 people off a cart into a hole in the ground.
No, it's not a lot of people died.
Well, depending
Last
on
time
the
I
size
saw
of the people
well
and stuff like that.
bodies.
Well, yeah,
Alright.
on this trip, you know, he had 5 bodies.
Yeah.
And they've made multiple trips throughout the day.
Where was I? Yes. Yes, the cart bringer with the dead guys, he's dumping the bodies into a sewer grate. You can tell because if you look at the cart right now, you'll see it's empty.
Well, that
And
can't be
it's
hiding.
not empty. I believe there are people in the below the sewer grate grabbing the body. I
Oh.
don't know who they are, obviously, because I'm not under there myself. But
Well, then we should get down there and have a look, I guess.
I concur with that plan.
All right.
I really don't want my suit dirtied by sewage.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to stop for tonight.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that was a lot.
That was a lot of progress. 3-hour session.
Compared to what happened last time, yeah.
Yeah, I was really expecting a guard fight with the family, with little Billy.
Why would we do that?
Yeah, why would we fight the guards we're working with?
Well, you know, I was kind of hoping.
They're just doing their job, man.
Yeah, well, we're not. I'm pretty sure we're not. We've been pretty good about not being murder hobos or stuff
Yes,
like that.
we're good law-abiding citizens that just
We're role-play
ensure
hobos.
to-
As much as I wanted to just barge in and start fighting in the bakery.
I mean, we got there eventually. It's okay.
We're role-play hobos. We avoid combat at all costs.
We avoid combat, and then we've got nice defeated enemies. We put a knife in their throat. It's just how it goes.
I love it. All right.